we are back with episode 38 of the Metal Roundtable. I am Metal Rob, and with me as always is the great... The great... Hey! Well, he's sort of with us. Carcass, do you have me?
I got you. Good, buddy.
Well, kids, this is going to be our first opening of a show with one person because the great Carcass is stuck in traffic, got funneled through a railroad stop, and so, yeah, you just get to look at my smiling, shining face and shiny head that I can't really explain what's up with that. And, yeah, we've got the Carcass. How's it looking out there, Carcass?
It looks dreadful, man. This looks really bad. This looks worse than a Slipknot caravan trying to get out of the parking lot. It's really awful. You think if you take a toll road that you could drive fast like the Autobahn, but no. I guess everybody had the same idea that I did, and they decided that they would jump on the tollway. And here I sit, and I left in plenty of time, and I'm watching my GPS. It keeps ticking up and up and up and up instead of backwards, so I'm really frustrated.
Mark, do you think you left in plenty of time? Okay, Mark and I think you did not leave in plenty of time. I tell you what, Carcass, we're gonna dock you a paycheck. How about that?
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do without that pack of gum, but I'll somehow live.
That's right. Monkey Butt pays us in gum.
That's right.
So we
Make sure it's polarized.
We have sweet, fresh breath all the time.
All the time. We wouldn't want to leave any residue on the microphones.
No.
I'm not a microphone.
Well, you're
stuck in traffic.
You're kind of in front of a microphone, and hey, you had the idea for today's show, so let's just get on with it. You want to?
Sure.
All right, I will guide us through, my brother, and I will see you when I see you up here. So we were talking about what we wanted to discuss for episode 38, which was going to be the first one of 2020, obviously. And I won't give away what we're probably going to talk about next time. But we decided to go with the 2019 year in review. So I did some research and looked at a bunch of metal releases that came out in 2019. And I'll just start with those, and I'll just rattle off a few. And how about if you just chime in if you want? Does that sound good?
I'll chime away.
All right. So in January, we had, and we're going to go through some metal releases. We're going to talk about some deaths that occurred in 2019 and some tour things and stuff like that. But we're going to start with releases. So in January, the first note that I have, excuse me, is the Three Tremors. What say you, Carcass?
Well, I mean, like we sort of have, we always do episodes outside of the episodes. And
yes, we do.
As per a previous discussion, there's a little bit of sensory overload with the Three Tremors because you've got three killer vocalists basically fighting with lightsabers, except vocally. And sometimes it's kind of like listening to an Yngwie Malmsteen record where it's almost overwhelming. But I like all three of those guys. I think that they're powerhouses, and for what they do, it's nothing short of spectacular. So
well, and the thing is, you say how they're up there fighting with lightsabers, and we were talking this week about how it's kind of like an Yngwie record where there's just so much guitar going on that you kind of could get lost in it maybe, but you really don't. They complement each other in such a way. When I heard it, when I heard about it, I thought that's exactly what it was going to be, and we're going to pull up a tour date here on their page. I thought that's exactly what it was going to be. I thought it was going to be kind of, I don't know, just such overload in a way that was going to be disinteresting. but it was exactly the opposite of that. Those three guys chime in, at different spots and sing different things, and it's great. And the beauty of that release too is, if you like one of the singers, like say you're a big Harry Conklin fan, well, guess what? Okay, so you bought the album, but man, I'd really like to hear what Harry Conklin sounds like. Well, go get it, because the solo versions 3 CD set is out. It's available for about $21 on Amazon. Mine came in the mail today. And you can listen to the album with your favorite singer's vocal only, which is brilliant. I think that's genius. So I can't wait. And I'm going to listen to all three in preparation for potentially hitting the show, which comes up
That's Tuesday the 16th?
I think it's the 18th. No,
18th?
I'm sorry. No, I'm completely wrong. Tuesday, January 28th at Trees. The Three Tremors. Yeah. And we know a couple guys in that band, so I'm going to try to make it out for that. And let's see what's next on our list. So the next thing that I had that I thought we would mention was King Diamond, and this is the Songs for the Dead album, the live release that he put out, which is fantastic. And I also saw King Diamond in 2019 to start his new tour, and he was fantastic. What did you think about Songs of the Dead?
I've heard parts of it. I haven't heard the whole thing through, but the King still has it, and I don't know if the hiatus has helped his voice. I know he had some health issues, etc. But man, the King is still the King, and I hadn't seen him live since the early to mid '90s,
Mm-hmm.
And I often wondered how long can a guy hold up singing like that? But
Yeah.
as we know, several of our friends, James Rivera, George Call, they take care of their voices, and somehow they're able to pull this off.
Yeah, he was fantastic, man.
Yeah, I've seen the video. I mean, there's tons of video online of this new. Well, it was the European set that he toured with here, and man, he's incredible. And I find his music really, even though there's nothing really different from album to album. He's not breaking new ground, but man, he's very consistent, and he does interesting melodies, and his operatic changes and so forth. I just think it's so cool that I really dig it.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. He was great live, and that CD DVD set was really cool too. I'm not texting, I promise. I'm paying attention to you lovely people out there. I really am.
Well,
but I'm using notes. What's that? Oh no, you're doing great. Oh, I'm talking into the camera because I'm sitting here on my phone and it looks like I'm texting, but I'm really just going through our notes. So the next thing I have that came out, those two came out in January, and in February I have Overkill, The Wings of War. Now I don't own that. Have you heard it?
That once again, we've gone on and on about Overkill, or at least I have. They're probably the most consistent heavy metal band, at least American heavy metal band, I think that's out there. I mean, they just don't put out a crap record. They just keep putting out great music and stuff with energy and great production. And man, I cannot wait to see them with Exhorder here coming up in the next few months.
Yeah, March 7th at Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. I believe we have tickets, young man.
I believe we're sitting at a table, and we will be basking in the glory of those two great bands.
Yes, we will. And one of those bands I'm going to talk about a little bit later on this list. But next on my list, in March, there were 3 or 4 things that came out, and we can buzz through these real quick. I had Queensryche's The Verdict as one of the highlights of the year. I think in the post-Jeff Tate era of Queensryche, I think with everything they put out album-wise, I think they're coming together more and more as, quote, a new Queensryche. It still sounds like Queensryche, even though you're missing Chris DeGarmo, who was one of the chief songwriters, obviously. But, man, I really think they've come into their own, and I can't, the guitar player, I can't come up with his name right now, but he apparently wrote the thing, and it's pretty darn good. I don't know if you got a chance to check that out, but that was a good record and certainly made my highlights of 2019, and they're coming to town soon as well.
I'll be honest with you. I got the very first one that they did with the new singer,
Mm-hmm.
and I really liked it. And I heard the second one that they did with the new singer, and I really liked it, but I don't own it, and I haven't heard one lick off this new one.
It's good. It's
I'll
good.
take your word for it.
Yeah.
If it's as good as the last two, then I have no doubt that it would be, the whole album would be good.
Yeah, they're greatness. They are going to be here sometime that I can't pull up at the moment. So I'm going to move on from that. So next on my list, and feel free to jump in because I have these in month order. I have these in order of release, but that's only because I cheated and made notes. So if you've got one you want to throw out, man, just throw it out there.
Well, I actually have a list, and I put mine in alphabetical order, but
And don't crash reading your list, although that would be very metal for you to die in a crash live on the show.
That would be terrible. We're breaking new ground. I don't want to break that new ground.
He's got a silhouette up there where your picture should be.
Oh gosh.
I love this guy.
Hey, I've been drawn worse than that. I can tell you that.
Well, it's a very handsome silhouette, so I think when you see it, you're going to be impressed with your silhouette. Well,
Go ahead.
No, sorry. The next one that I had was Tesla's Shock, and I have hot sports opinions about the new Tesla album. Have you heard even a note off of it?
Man, no, I haven't, and I'm just gonna tap the brakes, just like I'm doing on the freaking tollway. I'm not a huge fan, but I did see them live at the Toyota Music Venue, which is a newer venue here in town. And
Mm-hmm.
man, I dug it. I thought they were great. But not a huge, massive fan to the point where I would buy something that they just put out, and I haven't. So I'm not gonna lie. I don't really have an opinion either way. I like the fact that these older bands are still making music. More power to them,
Yeah.
But no, so that I'm gonna have to defer to you to blather on.
Well, let me tell you what I think about it. I went and saw these guys open for Def Leppard and Poison in Vegas summer or two ago, and they were great. Exactly like you said, they're just fantastic live, and they've been a machine, and they've kept putting out album after album over all these years, and great band. So I couldn't wait to get the new album, and it came out in I don't know, March, I think. And I got it, and it came from Amazon, and I ripped the package open and rushed upstairs and threw it in the CD player. Yeah, I have a CD player in my house. And it's a Def Leppard album. It's produced by Phil Collen, and the drums are electronic, which most all are. Everybody uses, triggers and supplements their drums these days. There's no secret there, and that's fine. It's a real performance just with enhanced sound. I get it. But this is coming in, with the I don't know. It's just it seems almost synthesized. It's very pop oriented, and I don't mean in a Tesla, MTV video way. I'm talking in a Def Leppard syrupy post hysteria pop way. And so, in my opinion, with Phil Collen producing the album, he put out another Def Leppard album. It's Def Leppard with Jeff Keith singing. And so, is it good? Yes, it's good. But man, Tesla, I love you so much, and all the guys in the band, I'm sure you're nice dudes, and I've never met any of you, but like I said, the album is good, and it stands well on its own, but it is obviously produced by somebody from Def Leppard, because that's exactly what it sounds like.
Well,
So you're going to rush right out and buy it now, right?
no, I probably won't go out and buy it. I'm happy with the Tesla that I own from the cutout bin from the 90s. But you know, it's interesting, and I guess this is no big huge shock that you're buying things and you're espousing things that are a little on the light side, because I'm looking down my list and I have a very eclectic top albums of 2019, of which I posted on my Carcass John art Facebook page, and then someone was throwing out their opinions, and I posted it on the Metal Roundtable too. But there are bands out there that are not doing electronic drums or trigger drums for just effect, and I'm just going to go ahead and spill the beans right now.
Carcass, if you could stand by, we have some breaking news. There's a scroll on the feed. Stand by, and I'll report this to you. News update from the Metal Roundtable. Carcass John is late, in all caps, for the show. He is on his way from being stuck in traffic. Hope he does not have a flat tire, or hopefully he can speed and not get a ticket.
Well, you know what?
Monkey Butt is doing his magic.
I wish I were speeding, because I'm not. I'm on the toll road, and like I said, you're supposed to run fast on the toll road, but no.
Oh, man.
Seriously, literally parked, and I'm looking at taillights.
Well, I couldn't. That sucks.
I can't make this stuff up, and this is what I get for going home and finding the most sideways, unreadable logoed T-shirt and taking a shower before I do the Metal Roundtable. I guess I should just go sweaty and stinky and put on the Burning Midget shirt again and just have been done with it.
Oh, man. Did we decide if that was politically correct or not? I think that...
I think we're trying to steer away from any type of political correctness, because I don't want to go... I don't want to go Ricky Gervais on anybody today.
So,
I want to just keep this.
So I got to tell you this, Carcass. I'm sitting here and I'm going through the list, and all I can see is Monkey Butt shoulders going up and down, because I've got headphones on, so I can't hear him. Well, finally he cracks himself up enough that I can hear that he's laughing. And so I see him keep looking at the screen, and I'm like, what's going on? And then, yeah, he's got the scroll up there. So, yeah.
Well.
Oh, cool. Are you going to throw the laptop up? Sorry, now I'm sorry, production value. Production
value.
Well, listen, here's the deal. Here's what I'll do. I'll do this in rapid fire order, and then we'll go back through them. But you were talking about things being on the lighter side. So starting in May on my list, here's what I've got. Diamond Head, Death Angel, Exhorder, Toxic Holocaust, Municipal Waste, Blood Incantation, and Cattle Decapitation. Does that suit you better?
Now you're talking.
Do you feel happier now?
Now, yes, I feel whole.
Okay, well let's go through Diamond Head, because I know you're not a huge Nawabum fan, but I know you do like a lot of it. I freaking love the new Diamond Head. What did you think?
Okay, I like it way better than the last Diamond Head.
Mm-hmm.
I was, and you know, honestly, if you want to get right down to it, and I'm doing my best Richie Blackmore versus Steve Morse opinion now. I think Diamond Head's best record was, you know, the obvious one, and I don't know that they're that great. I enjoyed them live when we. You were there at the. Was it Steel Bearing Hand, Mothership, Raven, and Diamond Head show at the Boiler Room downtown? Yes. Deep Ellum. That was fantastic. They were great. You know, Steven Tatler obviously writes good songs and plays great guitar and can sing. And also
his brother Brian Tatler, but yes.
Yes, but you know, I'm not a huge fan. I can say that release is better than the last one. That's all I can say about it.
I think it's their best thing that they've done since Lightning to the Nations, which was the very first thing.
Okay.
I think I think it's great. Then,
Like I said, go ahead.
well, no, go ahead. You throw a couple out there.
No. I was gonna say, like, that's the only one I needed in my collection was Lightning of the Nations, and now you're telling me I should probably readdress this one, which I will.
It's
I'm
good.
open.
It's a really, really good album, and one of the things that I'll tell you about it that's surprising that may not make you specifically want to run out and grab the album, but I'm going to tell you I think it's the third or fourth track on the album. I can't remember what it's called, but man, he channels Chris Cornell on this slower song, and it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. So if for no other reason, you need to check that out, but it's really good. I'll figure out the name of the song, but so yeah, throw one out, man. What have you got in your best of?
Well, I'm gonna just punch you right in the face with this one because Blood Incantation, Hidden History of the Human Race is my top record of the year, and these guys have been there's been a lot of noise in the business, especially the heavy metal business of I mean, extreme heavy death metal is kind of like all the rage, but these guys have some sort of a scientific, science fiction, technical vibe to them that is so crushing and so interesting. There's ambient parts, there's spacey parts. I mean, if Pink Floyd, well, it's kind of like what we heard with Turbid North.
Absolutely,
And,
I was gonna say it. Yep.
Where there's some very melodic, floating parts, just coupled with extreme bashing of one's head against a giant rock, and yet it all feels great. And that record right there is top notch to me. I was going to mention also. I don't know what's in the water down in Houston, but Cemeterian released a 3-song tape and a 7-inch, and it's called Tomb of Morbid Stench. That's probably all I need to say, and you'll fully understand.
It's carcass metal.
Like. Yeah, and I'm telling you, that thing is so brutal and heavy. It's like unlike anything you've ever heard. And then to round out that the Houston Annihilation, we've got Oath of Cruelty, Summary Execution at Dawn that just got released a couple of weeks ago in December. Just made the cut. And then our buddies from the Scourge, Warrant for Execution.
Yep, I had that one too.
That thing absolutely shreds. And when I heard it in your garage that one day, I couldn't believe that A, that was the Scourge, and B, that was Garrick singing.
It's not Garrick singing.
It's not. It's Andrew.
It's Andrew.
Oh.
Yeah, I was correct.
Well,
I was corrected publicly on Facebook.
Then once again, that's why I couldn't believe it was Garrick, because it sounded like Andrew. But anyway, not to overlook your mention of Toxic Holocaust, which I'm pretty sure that Joel is not capable of writing a bad record.
I agree.
And some may argue with me. I think the production value on it's a little weak, but and minus Charlie and Nikki that are now toting around with Dee Snider, Joel is always going to put out a quality album, and I love Toxic Holocaust, and I love that record. But let's say I've blathered on, and I'm 2.6 miles away from the studio, so praise be to whoever you worship, and I'm almost there, hopefully.
Well,
soon.
I want to make a couple of points about these bands that you've brought up. Is that you're spot on about Blood Incantation, and I'm the first to admit I'm not the biggest fan of extreme metal and some of the stuff that you're into. We all know that. But man, if something is going to hit me over the head that's extreme metal, I hope that means it's pretty good, because I'm not as into that as you are. But that Blood Incantation record is just amazing. And I was talking to my friend from Lower Hama the other night, Matthew Mustaine, and we're sitting in the dude lair over at my house, and he's turning me on to that, and he's turning me on to the new Cattle Decapitation record. And as good as the Blood Incantation record is, and I agree with you on that, when the Cattle Decapitation record came on and we started listening to that, I just sat there wide-eyed with my mouth open looking at Matthew, and he's just grinning ear to ear, going, I told you, man, I told you. It was so great, and he was kind enough to, he actually bought a copy and sent it to me. So that was pretty cool. I got that and the new Possessed in the mail from him yesterday, so that was pretty cool. And then...
That's a pretty good record, too, by the way.
Dude, I heard it earlier in the year, and I haven't revisited it yet, but I need to go back and play it. And also, how can you go wrong with Municipal Waste? They fall into that same category of Overkill, of Motorhead, of AC/DC. You know what you're getting. You're going to get another good Municipal Waste record.
Yep.
Every time.
Even the one that everybody hates. I went back and listened to it. That Massive Aggressive. Dude, that thing still shreds. I'm sorry. It may not be their best one, but that thing killed. And this new one is, I'm mad that it's only 4 songs. I wanted it to be more. That thing destroys.
Yeah, it's a good record. Got to see them live too, so that was pretty cool. Who did we see them open for?
Napalm Death and
yes.
Who was that Voivod and Skeletal Remains, and who was the New York hardcore band?
Oh, Sick of It All.
Sick of It All, because I remember seeing Billy Discern
losing his mind.
Billy from Discern there, and of course he loves those guys. And but anyway, yeah, I mean, yeah, they're mega consistent. Those guys are.
Well, let's talk about that Ex-Hoarder album real quick before we move on to other stuff. And I think I'm sensing through my Rob Spidey senses, my Metal Rob sixth sense, that you might be in the building.
No, not quite yet. My aura is so large, though, that I'm 1.6 miles away.
Oh, you must be stopped because it got quiet.
I'll talk to you about my cosmic energy later, but anyway.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's talk about that Ex-Hoarder record, because one of the things when a record passes muster with me, when I'm first listening to a record and it passes muster, it becomes my lawn mowing record. And I swear I mowed for a month to that Ex-Hoarder album, because all I knew was Slaughter in the Vatican back in the day, and it was like, oh, this is cool, this is iconic, this is where, Pantera got their sound or stole their sound, or Pantera was influenced by these guys or whatever. And I wanted to check that out because I hadn't listened to Slaughter in the Vatican. Monkey Butt's ears are perking up over here. So I had a copy of Slaughter in the Vatican that was so warped I couldn't play it. So I never got a lot of airtime on that with that record. I never got a lot of FaceTime with it, but I heard it enough online and I was like, oh, wow. Holy crap, that is Pantera. Well, I get the new album, and it starts out, and it's all heavy, and it's cool, and it's exactly what I expected from a modern, good, I don't want to say they're extreme metal, but they're extreme thrash metal for sure. And then started getting deeper into the album, and deeper into the album, and it's like, this is a Pantera record. I get it. I absolutely get it, because they're still writing the way they've always written. So I think there's something to that, man. I think there's something to them being influenced by that Ex-Hoarder sound. What say you?
I totally agree with you, and I had a little bit of a hiccup there because I saw the Kyle Thomas, Michael Haga sing from the heaviest Texas or whatever rendition, and I thought, man, if the Exhorder sounds anything like this, I'm gonna just be crushed, killed, and destroyed immediately. And man, I can't believe how good that thing is. And there's even like a slow song on it that I actually like, because it's haunting. It's got a killer melody to it, and it's bad to the bone, man. Exhorder has not lost a step. And
Well,
it's been, what, 30 years?
Yeah, well, they're one of those. They're one of those bands. I can't wait to go to that Overkill show and hang out with you and a couple of buddies of ours. And the first thing I'm going to do is hit the merch table because I am sold on those dudes now. Totally sold. I love it.
Yep.
By the
Well,
way, you
there
can
was a
punch
lot-
us.
There's a lot of banter about who stole what from whom between Pantera and Exhorder, and I'm telling you, Exhorder's been doing it a lot longer than the the Projects in the Jungle, Pantera, whatever. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, that's good music,
Exhorder
sir.
Exhorder was tearing them up during that era.
You
And
what?
so,
You watch your mouth right now.
yeah, I know. I'm
Treading
treading on
lightly.
thin ice.
You tread lightly.
But and I'll be tripped under ice pretty soon. But anyway, I love Exhorder. I love the heaviness of it, and I love the fact that it's who they are. It's their signature sound. It's their signature riff. It's them. You know, it's Exhorder, and
Right.
your spidey sense ought to be going. Well, I was going to say ape, you know what, because but I thought Monkey Butt might be offended, but I'm actually in the parking lot, and so why don't I come on upstairs? I'll kick the door down or do whatever I need to
Well,
do.
just stay on the phone. Yeah, just keep coming till you walk in the door.
Okay.
Unless you need your
All right.
hands, you might have a million things to. I mean, if you don't need your hands, just
No. All right.
you talk
all
about
right,
show on the
all right.
fly, Mark. This is it, man. We're getting it.
Man,
We're getting it done.
What next? We're gonna Skype somebody at the same time.
Well, hey, the last
But anyway.
the last album that we have to talk about, and I'll just talk while you're heading up the hallway. I can almost hear your carcass steps like a giant approaching. Is the Death Angel Humanicide record, dude. So our buddy Goathead Lance turned me on to that thing, and he kept saying, go get it, go get it, go get it. And I never went and got it. And I heard a couple things online, and I liked it. I knew it was great and all. And then I picked up the record a few weeks ago and then saw him live, and it just reinforced what a ridiculous band that is. They were so good at Trees, man. Ultimate pros. The record was just outstanding. The show performance was just amazing. So it was is that the album of the year? It's Grammy nominated, by the way.
Say that again. I'm outside trying to load up and walk up the stairs.
Oh, the carcass is trying to make it up the stairs and talk to my stupid ass on the phone. I am purporting that the Death Angel record might be the metal record of the year, as it was Grammy nominated.
Well, I mean, we can agree to disagree on that.
Sure. But hey, man,
I mean,
but Death Angel got nominated for a Grammy. That's ridiculous. He said even if they don't win, you know, the flag got waved for heavy metal because they even got nominated. So he was thrilled. He said, who cares if we win? We got nominated.
Yeah, well,
Love it.
these are the same people that picked Jethro Tull over Metallica for Metal Album of the Year one year. So
I know, but dude, Death Angel,
to your point,
come on.
I'm going to give them their due.
I think the carcass needs to mix in some cardio. I can hear him breathing pretty heavy in my. I think he's imminent.
I am imminent. I'm imminent domain. I'm getting my steps and my cardio in.
I can't believe it. He's almost here. Now you're gonna have to change the banner. You're gonna have to change the scroll.
No, if the silhouette looks anything like Brad Pitt, just leave it.
It does look pretty good. We're vamping on the segment until the carcass, who is imminent, joins us. So to reset a little bit, and I need to get better about doing this. Mark is teaching me the ways of the social media. We are on kvgi.com. Currently, kvgiradio.com. See, I told you I was terrible at this. kvgiradio.com. Currently, we are here on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock. You can call, maybe, if we decide to take your phone call. You can follow me on Instagram at IamMetalRob, and you can follow Carcass at CarcassJohnArt on Instagram. You can find the Metal Roundtable on Facebook. You can find KVGI on Facebook, and we would love it if you would like us, share us, follow us in all those great social media ways that only you know how to do. Oh, he's imminent, isn't he? Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Carcass. Yes, sir. Woo! Oh, man.
Holy cow.
He made it.
This is horrible.
Okay,
Oh,
now let's reset. Let's reset. Where's his camera? Okay, you're here. All right. Has he got you set? Okay, let's have the. It's episode 38. We're having our 2019 year in review, and it's time to see your stupid T-shirt.
It's not a stupid
It's the
t-shirt.
first one of 2020.
Come on, you can do it.
Hang on.
The answer's closer than you think. I just gave you a hint.
I believe you. Well, stand still. That's Havoc, obviously.
Of course.
I am Destruction. Did I get it? Is that it?
See, you're getting better at this.
I am.
Is this me?
Pop on, Carcass.
Okay.
Yeah,
there
have
I
some
am.
headphones. It's good to see. I'm glad you made it,
You're
bro.
right on. Wow, what a nightmare.
It's good to be with you.
It's good
And
to
of
be
course
here.
it is.
It is Carcass John.
You did it.
Here with-
And
I-
with
I
me
did-
as always is the great.
Carcass John.
Yes. So
Wow. I so apologize.
no, you're doing great, buddy.
You know, I was raised in a military family where if you were on time, you were 10 minutes late. So
So you're about a day and a half
I'm
late
about
at
a
this
day
point.
and a half late. Yes.
Yeah.
See, unlike you, I don't do things. I on a iPad pod.
Okay, let's see how many of these bands anybody outside of you has there. We'll see how many of these bands I've actually heard of.
Okay.
How many? Do you know how many are on the list?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna count the list first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. There are 29 bands on this list.
Okay.
Okay, Monkey Butt. How many bands on this list of 29 do you think I honestly have heard of before right this minute? I haven't counted them up.
What's the over under?
What's the
9.
Okay. I'm going to say 5.
Oh.
But here we go, cuz I just counted. I didn't look at it.
Okay.
1 2
Nope. Say them. Say the go.
the ones I've heard of.
No, you just might as well read. See if anybody else knows what they are.
Well, I'll tell you how many I know
okay.
of first of
All
all.
right.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9.
Boom.
You win.
Don't
Here.
mess with the production
Here,
guy.
here, I got a prize for you, Mark. You're welcome. Good shot. 9. That's crazy.
Yep, that is crazy. But like I said, my list is eclectic and it doesn't include
is.
just metal stuff.
Right.
I listen to everything, and like I said, like I told a friend the other day, my last trip to Amsterdam, I listen and I feel and I seek music differently now than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of this includes some pretty eclectic stuff. That's all I can
Right.
say. But it doesn't change
No, it's cool.
how I do business
I saw
in
that.
the metal scene.
No.
So which ones have you heard?
I've heard.
Have you heard of 2814?
Nope.
Okay.
Abath.
Lost Fragments. Abath, Outstrider, great record. Biosphere, Senja Recordings, Gear Jensen, Norwegian fellow.
Nope. Blood
Blood Incantation.
Because of you.
We've already talked about that. Boy Harsher.
Nope.
Careful and the Careful remixes. Cannabis Corpse.
Yeah, because I've seen their records. on
Nug
the
So
bins.
Vile. That is so bad to the bone. They're one of my favorite bands. And shout out to Landfill. He's great in Municipal Waste, but he's even better in Cannabis Corpse. Cemeterian, Tomb of Morbid Stench. We talked about that.
I believe you.
Houston band. The Dave Greider band. You know who Dave Greider is? He's one of the founding members with John Perez of Rotting Corpse. And this is a straight up jazz fusion record.
No clue.
And he does all the instrumentation, the drums and the keyboards, except for a few guitar licks. It's pretty killer.
I'm cheating here.
And you know, the master himself, the man who invented cutting and scratching, DJ Crush from Japan, Cosmic Yard, Drab Majesty. They're going to be at this big shindig on Saturday with Carcass, Razor, Violence, and Power Trip.
Oh, yes.
And why they're on there? Because they're a Depeche Mode sound-alike band. I have no idea why they're there, but I'm interested.
Okay.
Here's a real sleeper. Elder. Gold and Silver Sessions. This is so cosmic and cool that everybody needs to own it. If you're having a bad day, pop this on and you will be completely chill, and some scorching guitar work. Really awesome.
You hear that, Monkey Butt?
Elder. Gold and Silver Sessions.
If you're having a bad day,
I have one that's gold on one side and silver on the other. It's pretty cool. Exhorter, we talked about that. More in the Southern Skies, completely
beautiful.
devastating.
Fantastic.
Exhumed, one of my favorite. Matt Harvey, guy's a genius, and horror is no let up the gas pedal. They're killer. Forebode.
Oh, yeah.
The EP.
I left that off my list like an idiot.
Yeah, well, I didn't. our sludge heroes.
Because you're a genius.
Our sludge heroes. No, I'm not a genius, but okay if you say so. Fu Manchu live at Roadburn.
Heard of them.
Man, Fu Manchu's awesome. And then Gal Zadok High. No, you'll never get that one. That's an ambient DJ from Europe. Gangstar. No.
Do you guys remember the best live albums list?
You know, this one
Remember
goes out.
that?
This one goes.
This is where we're at now.
This one goes out to T.J. Lewis because for as gurgling and gargling as he is with Forebode, he's a hip hop madman. So mad hype to him, and Gangstar is one of my high recommendations for him. Micron, Severance, another techno record. Mortiferum, completely crushing. You think Blood Incantation is heavy? Mortiferum makes Blood Incantation look like the Osmond Brothers. It's terrifying. Node Invictus, members of Osric Tentacles, doing some live ambient stuff, live at Cosfest. Oath of Cruelty, which we discussed.
I've heard you talk about them from Houston, right?
Really awesome.
Yeah.
Dave of Death and some members of Imprecation and Blaspherian.
Yeah, we missed them because we were late coming into a show once, I think.
Terrible. But great band. Shout out to Dave Collier. Opeth, almost can't go wrong with them these days. They're the modern day Deep Purple. And they came out with this in Canda Venenum, and it's they have a version in English and Swedish. And for some reason, the Swedish sounds cooler. I don't know why. Ossuarium, Living Tomb, heavy. Overkill, Wings of War. We discussed
deer
that.
in the headlights. Look.
Did you include Santa Obscuridad on your list?
No, and did I miss it on yours?
Yeah, and you're wearing the
I'm
shirt.
wearing the shirt, for crying out loud.
Like I said, there's something going on down in Houston.
Something's
Our brothers
in the water.
our brothriff from Hellstar. It's in Spanish and it's so killer.
Yeah.
Larry Berrigan is the master riff writer. The Scourge, which we discussed. Here's another one: Planetary Clairvoyance by Tomb Mold. Absolutely devastating. Toxic Holocaust, and then I had to top it off. I had to add this one: Witch Vomit. Buried in a deep and bottomless grave, which is where this list is going to probably end up.
Did you ever think you'd hear that on your station, Monkey Butt?
Witch
Vomit. Yep,
Anyway,
that's the quality he's bringing to this show. Do you hear that? You see what I have to put up with?
hey,
Witch Vomit.
pop it on. You remember this whole what does that say on your shirt? And then
You're
you listen,
gonna like
and
it.
then you
It's pretty good.
and it's pretty good. So Anyway,
Witch vomit.
yes, and I know that's extreme, and I know that my Sunday school class probably won't like me anymore, but that's the way it is. Speaking of which, I noticed that because I wasn't here to punch you or wiggle your ear or do whatever, we forgot shout outs.
Oh, bring it on.
And so I want to shout out to Perry Strickland, drummer from Violence. They're going to be here on Saturday. I can't wait. So Violence. So shout out to Phil and Sean, recovering cancer survivor. Man, I mean, left for dead, and now he's back in black, and I love it.
Awesome.
I met I say he's a kid. He's in his 20s, his mid to late 20s.
That's a kid to us, brother.
Yeah, that's a kid to us. And Ira Young, living in Hawaii.
Hello, Ira.
Now, because of us, he's discovered Deep Purple. So what can I say? Shout out to Ira. And
share us with all your friends, Ira.
And ironically, he's doing some, and we're going to have him on because he's very interesting, but he's using, his thought is he's going to use heavy metal to keep peace in the Middle East. Now, I know that's a far-reaching thought, but I think he might be onto something here. So we'll let him explain that if we ever get him on the show. But
cool.
Anyway, those are my shout-outs. What say ye?
I got nothing, man. I am glad you made it here safely.
Oh my gosh, I'm still kind of unwinding.
I know.
I like to get to places early so I can, I'm that guy that likes to find a seat in the theater, get centered, take a deep breath.
Right. And sit for
I can't eat during the movie.
I like to be there before the preview starts.
Yeah, I like to check out the previews, but
not to bring the room down, but let's talk about some other things that happened in 2019. And one of definitely our most serious episode that we've done, and I don't remember which number it was, but when we interviewed, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the death of the great Bruce Corbett on January 25th.
Yep.
So we fortunately were lucky and absolutely humbled to be in his presence in his home about 6 days before he left this mortal coil.
And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because it was I've known Bruce a long time. Even when I lived in Houston, I would drive up. I discovered rigor mortis early on, and Bruce was a very outgoing person, and he was easy to make friends with. And but anyway, I felt very fortunate, as you mentioned, that we were there with. And we had Scott Shelby there, the great shell beast in his natural habitat. Mike Taylor from Rabid Flesh Eaters that took over for another great Mike Scascia in the rendition, kind of the tribute rendition of Rigor Mortis called Wizards of Gore, and so anyway, as a result of this, and as tragic as it is, I'm glad that he's not suffering anymore because, man, he was really in rough shape there at the very end and kind of knew, and he told me, he said, he knew he was on his way out. He could feel it, and it's really cryptic to talk to people like that, but it's reality.
It is.
So,
well, you know damn well.
Yep, there you go. Tribute.
Yeah, that we were
Bruce
lucky.
Corbett.
And yeah.
Okay,
Pop
so
that thing
as a
on.
result of all this,
we gave one of these away a few episodes ago.
That's right, because Mark Fields, the great Mark Fields, who sang with Siege for a while,
Metal Mark
was able to guess my age
through some
CIA
kind of crap,
some CIA forensic research. But anyway, when they were calling it quits, Warbeast was not going to move forward as Warbeast, not unlike other bands. It was kind of like Motorhead moving forward without Lemmy. It wasn't going to happen. So I never thought I'd get to draw another Warbeast thing again, and I had a great time drawing all their album covers, T-shirt designs, stickers, whatever. But the Thrashmaster, Scott Shelby, basically commissioned me to draw one last thing, if you couldn't see that.
See it.
And ironically, the name BCAD, which is a spinoff of whatever,
right.
Bruce Corbett after death. Here he is, and so what I did is I combined the first logo I did for War Beast and the last logo I did for War Beast, and the first Beast and the last Beast, and kind of pushed them together and put it into this fiery. And of course, the red chain. He had a red chain microphone with rigor. There's all sorts
I
of.
never even noticed that.
Yeah, there's all sorts of little innuendo in there.
Oh, wow.
That connects
Okay.
that connects Gamacide, Hammer Witch, Rigor Mortis,
I see the beasts now, too.
all those.
Okay.
Yeah, if you hold your hand over, you can see it even
Yep.
more clearly. But
Yep.
the beauty of this thing is, it's the very first live show that they did. It's the audio of the very first live show that they did as War Beast.
And this is no bootleg.
No, it's no bootleg.
This is pro, kids. This is absolutely a pro recorded live show.
Yeah, and it is. Anyway, and I dawned on me as I handed this thing off, and they did the production work on it, that I was announcing the band. So, he caught me at the last minute and said, "Can you welcome? Can you do this the favor of announcing who we were?" But this is a James McWilliams recordings. He's an outstanding.
Yeah.
He may be the best sound engineer in the area.
Fantastic.
And then coupled with all Kerry Crafton and all the other remastering and so forth, this thing really sounds killer. And Bruce thought he was going to be on the comeback trail, and guess what? It turned out to be his last show. But we actually have a DVD of that show, and it's pretty fun. So anyway,
all super pro.
if anybody wants a copy of it, we got a few copies left. Hit us up, message us.
Yeah, there's actually the official place to get it is on eBay, which is a little tedious, I understand. But if you want one, you can reach out to either one of us, and
we'll make sure you can get one.
We can get you squared away on that. I think they're $20. So
other than that, and then as a favor to you, I recorded my favorite metal of 2019 without, Boy Harsher and Biosphere.
Don't show Monkey Butt that. He's not going to be able to be home for a while. So.
Well, I might want to give one to him, but
here you go. Oh, see, yeah, he's interested.
Yeah,
now.
see, he is interested.
He's interested
And
now.
I had to make a correction because I made a mistake. So anyway, it's just a burned CD, but you know what? It's kind of fun to do comps for your friends, and so you guys are my friends. So
I'll be interested. Yeah, I'll check all this out for sure. So, oh, good. My computer restarted, so that's great.
But we were talking about people that had passed, and we started off with the great Bruce Corbett, and it's a sad day. But once again, like I said, he's not suffering. So
right. And coming up in April will be the anniversary of the death of Paul Raymond.
UFO.
From UFO, and I saw him on one of their last tours. Not this. Obviously, he's not on this last tour that they're finishing out right now. But it was cool to see Paul Raymond, and then he passed, and then recently, actually, Timmy Hansen from King Diamond and Merciful Fate passed.
I had him on my list
back
too.
on November 4th.
Yeah, and what a great player. I mean, I mean, all these guys are super pros. I listed a couple other guys too. Paul Whaley, the drummer for Blue Cheer.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first really vacation into heaviness, was the Blue Cheer records. And Bernie Torme, guitarist for Ozzy, great songwriter. Yeah. Phil McCormick, the vocalist for Molly Hatchet, passed away, and then. A shocking one is Richard Brunel, that was the guitarist in Morbid Angel for a while, and that sparked a little chatter about Morbid Angel, and
yes.
And you really do need to dive into them.
I did,
and
I like it. I like it, man. It's good.
We'll untease your hair and stop you from buying hair products. Oh wait, you don't have to do that anyway.
So there were a couple other things in 2019 as we do continue our 2019 wrap up. I know we're doing kind of a long episode here, so I appreciate you sticking around and listening in and sharing us with your buddies and all that. But there were also this was the year of the farewell tour. We saw Slayer for the last time. Crocus started their farewell tour this year. It's going to be ongoing into 2020. Kiss has been on farewell tour since 1996, but supposedly they're done
next year.
next year.
Oh no, this year.
This year, yes.
Because they're here at the new Dickies Center in Fort Worth.
They're ending in, is it May? I don't remember. But anyway, and then UFO's currently out on their
Yeah.
Final Orders tour. So got some stuff. Got some stuff coming. Let me guess who that was from.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Poser Mark. You a-hole. Anyway.
So yeah, 2019, man, was a pretty great year for metal. There were lots of good releases, and as always, not in a great way, but there were some unfortunate deaths and some unexpected things.
But not quite like in previous years. I remember that one year, and it was just like every weekend there was 2 or 3
Yep.
people that were passing on to the
Yeah.
next realm. And but one thing I noticed about this year is, man, there's a lot of heavy music out there, and there's a lot of super quality music. It's not, I think sometimes musicians get hungry again, and anyway, I think that we're starting to see the results of that hunger erupt again, because man, I could listen to any of these records, and I left some off the list because I just thought I'm going to be talking forever, and I don't want to do that.
Because they would have closed the building before you were done
right,
reading your
exactly,
list.
or I would have been in McKinney, north of McKinney or something. But anyway, but I'm encouraged by the fact that here we are in 2020, heavy metal is still climbing. And it may be at a tank's trudging pace, but it's still climbing.
And Overkill is still touring.
And Overkill is still touring. Doggone it, that's amazing.
These bands, and I'm just using them as an example, but these guys are still coming back around.
Right. Well, and I remember when I saw Violence for the first time. It was 91, and how many years ago was that?
30
years ago. And here they are back in our backyard again. Minus Rob Flynn, and I'll leave all my opinion about that whole scenario on the doorstep. But they are freaking awesome, and I've seen the live footage already. I can't wait to see them. But anyway, long and the short of it is, I have high hopes for heavy metal in the year 2020.
Agreed.
And moving forward, I'll try to leave like 2 days earlier before I need to do an episode, so I'm not.
Maybe we should put a cot in here for the carcass so he can
I'll just
be
sleep,
here on time. He'll just stay here.
Stay here, then, and yeah.
Yeah,
But
I like it.
Anyway, circumstances. But hey, thanks to Monkey Butt for the technology.
Yeah.
And I was able to at least pitch in a few opinions there, hot sports opinions on music and metal.
Well, and outside the interviews that we got to do in 2019, which were cool. I think we did a couple of 3. I don't remember how many we did. But the coolest thing that has happened to the show
is right here.
Look around.
you.
Check this out. The first time, as soon as we posted this video, the very first thing we got was the complaint that everybody had from the beginning.
Right.
You guys need to get some better microphones. Y'all need a better camera. You can put your phone as your camera. And I'm like,
I'm not so sure they
what?
need to see a clearer picture of either one of us.
No, right. In fact, we should do it with the lights out. That sounded.
No, let's not.
That sounded worse than
No, back it up, Santa Obscuridad with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
yeah, 2019, good year for metal.
Do we want to tip our hand as to what we're going to talk about next episode? So people, no, we don't want to do that. Never mind.
Well,
never mind.
Hang on.
It had something to do with about someone who played rock and roll, but
oh yeah. No, this will be our first ever tease. No, that's fine. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
The ace of spades. The ace of
there's
spades.
your hint. Well, I gave him a hint already, but
I just gave him a hint.
Yeah.
Say it.
All right.
What are we doing next time?
I think we're going to do Motorhead talk next time.
Yes. I love Motorhead.
Yeah. Boy, talk about consistency.
I'm rewatching the Lemmy documentary. I'm about halfway through it. So, yeah, next week at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, kvgiradio.com. Tune in to hear us talk about all things Motorhead.
Right on. We should get some traction from our boys down south in Houston, and Rob Doom and Sawblade, and I know everybody. I think that besides Black Sabbath, Motorhead might be the common bond which binds hardcore and punk and
Oh, I agree.
metal and rock and roll
Yeah.
all together. And here we are doing the episode.
Yeah,
so I'm going to
let's-
stop myself
Stop it. Pump the brakes like you were out on the
out on the tollway.
Well, thanks again to Monkey Butt for having us. We appreciate you very much, brother. Thanks for giving us the shot. Everything looks great. It sounds great. People are happy. Thanks to I Am Destruction for providing the
And let me
carcass
tell you
with
what, Saturday night I saw I Am Destruction, Trinonite, Prophecy, and Texas Murder Crew, and dude, it was devastating.
you
There's
seem devastated.
there's high hopes for the metal scene, especially in our area,
Awesome.
and I'm sure it's not unlike in other areas too. So support metal in all its forms.
Support John's shirts, and until next time, kids,
Metal
will prevail.